Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mike Kollin at seductionpower.com. Okay, so let's get right to it. And by the way, the volume of the music is going to go down in about 3 seconds. So one of the things that I began to notice, and it was because I read a lot of books on human behavior and zoology, animal behavior, and all that stuff combined with psychology, the female mating system, communication system is, okay, there was a writer, he was a zoologist who then began to notice that humans also do very similar animal behavior. In fact, what he noticed was like, wait a minute, animals do this. He began to notice these behaviors in humans at a more subtle level, but they're still there. So his name is Desmond Morris, Desmond Morris, and he wrote a book called The Human Zoo. Now, the next book that I read of his was called The Naked Ape. Now, what I'm about to teach you isn't something I learned from someone else. It's something that I began to notice. And the reason why I notice things that other people don't is there's a couple of reasons. Meditation. I meditated for 12 years straight. Now, I don't mean, I've actually had a couple of clients go, yeah, I meditate every day. I'm like, really? How long? They're like, oh, about 5 minutes. I'm like, yeah, that's not meditation. So I would meditate for a minimum of an hour up to 4 hours. And at the very, very longest, there was a 2-week period where I took 2 weeks off. I didn't go to school. I wasn't at work. And I meditated for 12 plus hours a day. 14, maybe 16 for those 2 weeks. But before that, I would meditate an hour in the morning up to 2 hours. And then in the evening, I would meditate for 2 to 4 hours. And this is every day. And on the weekends, if I didn't have any work, then I would meditate. Oh, it could literally be all day. We're talking 12 plus hours. So for over 2 years, I stopped doing anything but going to school and work. So all I did other than that, I didn't go to the gym. In fact, my gym time became my meditation time. So what this does is it opens you up and allows you to begin seeing things that are much more subtle, and it becomes very obvious, like you just start seeing it. Now, the other thing is it's a combination of my background in psychology and especially what I learned in NLP and hypnosis. Those teachings teach you what we do on an unconscious level. So you become very aware of it. Another thing is I started reading books on body language, and that was the final piece that allowed me to start seeing things that it's right there, it's right in front of your eyes, but if you're not tuned into it or clued into it, you won't know. So with all these different combinations, there's another thing they teach you in NLP. It's called modeling. It's modeling other people's behavior. Well, part of this, you learn how to see someone's unconscious strategies through the unconscious words they use and their eye patterns and their body language. And there's a certain pattern of questions you can ask people to get in deep, like, well, what is this? What is that? And you kind of repeat it and go in kind of circles until you nail it. And then you're like, holy shit, here's their 5-step pattern. So here's what I began to notice. Our lower reptilian brain is instinctual. It is not a human brain. It is the brain that we used during the caveman era. And it hasn't changed at all. So logically, a woman might give you this list of her perfect man. Like, this is my, or even not even perfect, but this is my type. I date men that are either this, and that have these traits that look like this, tall, height, this. But here's the deal. I remember in high school, this girl, I remember exactly by the lockers, just outside of the lockers, and we were talking, and she goes, well, my type is, and she had a freaking list. It was like 15 or 20 qualities, and I was like, oh my God, like, to me, I just want a cute girl that's fun. You know, that was it to me, someone that loved me. And I even said something like that. She goes, oh, no, you've got to have a list. And a friend said, oh, yeah, you've got to write it down, and you've got to have this list, and blah, 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 blah. Well, over the years in high school, you would hear women say, oh, I only date this kind of guy. He's got to be this or that. He's got to be skinny or tall or muscular or whatever. And here's the weirdest thing that not just me, but even my buddies began to notice. Like, none of them dated anyone remotely close to their type. And they would be happy, they'd be madly in love, and they would just hold the guy and be so smiley. And it was kind of weird. I'm like, this is so weird because, like, I mean, on the one hand, they have this list, but this guy doesn't even fit one single thing on that list. He's short, he's chubby, he's right. Yo, I know, I love his belly. And you're like, wait, what? By the way, the female mating system, her DNA, it is literally wired to date men or to marry men and have sex with men who have a belly. It literally triggers her mating system because, hey, this is a guy that can provide and has extra food. Therefore, he can provide for me and my children. Now, I didn't say logically. This was not on their list, and yet these are the guys they fell in love with. I'm not saying they're aware of this consciously. So I began to notice over years and years that women would say one thing and yet they'd end up falling in love. And I mean head over heels and in love with this guy that's like, wait, what? Here's what I began to notice. Women fall in love with a caveman. Now, a caveman doesn't necessarily have to be this big, tall, muscular dude, but a caveman goes after his goals. A caveman is locks onto something, he goes after it. That's it. He don't care about her. He don't ask her permission. And this is one of the things I began building into my course and conditioning this into men. Because it's one thing to logically teach it to you. It's another thing to get you to start doing this on an unconscious, natural level where you're just doing it. And boom, women start to chase you. And that's right there. I just said it. See, the modern male is so screwed up when it comes to women because our mothers and our female teachers have been raising us to be like women. And women are not sexually triggered or turned on by female behavior. They're attracted by essentially male, masculine, caveman behavior. Look, what do you mean? A caveman didn't worry what she thought about him. He didn't give a shit. He really didn't. It's like, let's have sex, and he goes and lives his life. Like, okay, so the modern male, and I was one of them, is like, oh my God, that guy's so selfish. You know, he just has sex with her and he just leaves and blah, 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 blah. And he's not nice to her. He doesn't cuddle with her and blah, blah, blah. And yet that's the guy now listen closely. And yet that's the guy she chases. That's the guy she fawns over and cries over. Oh, she, on the one hand, oh my God, he just got up and left after we had sex, and oh my God. And yet she has sex with the next night, and then the next week, and the day after that, and so on and so on. And the guy that he wants to cuddle and wants to give her all his time and buy her things and do things for her, she has no interest. That's the guy that she'll literally talk to you about, this guy that she's in love with. So here's what I began to notice. Take a look at this guy. This dude is locked on. He's looking over there. He's not looking at his girlfriend that's off to the side, by the way. She's down lower beneath the little hill of dirt he's standing on. He doesn't even know she's there. He don't care. It's not like he's like, F you, B word. It's not like that. It's like he literally doesn't notice her. Like and here's a key word. There's a technique. It's an internal awareness technique. It'll teach you how to be indifferent. And indifferent means you don't even notice them. It's not like you're mad or angry. Oh, I'm ignoring her. Screw her. No, it's not like that. It's like you just don't notice her. You're just completely indifferent. Right now you're hungry and you see the McDonald's or Burger King across the street and that's where you're going. Like, hey, honey, I'm really hungry for a Burger King Big Mac or whatever. Do you want to go? And oh, no, I don't want to go there. I want to get a salad. No, there's no discussion. It's just like, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm gone. Now, the cave women had to follow him. Because in the caveman era, if she wanted to survive, if she wanted to eat food and be protected, she damn well better follow his ass. And the other thing is she better work hard to make him happy and to keep him pleased. Because if she didn't, he wouldn't provide for her. The food he ate, it was for he wouldn't wait. He wouldn't care. It's like, well, why keep her around if there's no benefit? And that's the thing now listen closely to what I'm saying. This is neurologically wired into her nervous system and DNA. It's locked in. So if you come along and you're being nice to her and you're looking towards her and walking towards her, her brain goes, this doesn't make sense. This isn't... Literally, like women are like, yeah, something's wrong here. And here's what you hear from a lot from these podcasts and male dating gurus is they'll say, yeah, she thinks you're trying to take advantage of her. And she thinks, well, why is he being so nice to me? No, her brain is like, this does not neurologically function in my system. something's not right. Something's not, it just not, it doesn't, like right now I'm kind of shrugging my shoulders and moving my body. Her body gets this weird tingly, like feeling like, I got to get out of here. Something's not right. Because she's used to chasing and chasing and chasing. It is, you got to understand, this went on for tens of thousands of years. This is so locked into the female's mating system, it's not even funny. And if you're the guy that's trying to be nice and always cater to her and call her all the time, and like, look, if she, look, I'm gonna just put it blank. If she's literally not chasing you, game over. Let her call you. Let her come over. Let her cook and clean. Now, okay, here's the other part of this. Women had to work really hard to keep their caveman around. I mean, really hard. They had to cook, they had to clean, they had to massage, they had to fix his wounds and bandage him, and tender to his cuts and scrapes. And because if not, it's like there's no use to have her around. And now I know this isn't politically correct. I'm not trying to be a misogynist. I'm just saying this is so locked into their DNA that when you try to please her, that when you try to cater to her, that when you try to help her, that when you try to make her happy, it makes her mad. It like really, really mad. It confuses her. She's lost. She's just like, it's like, now part of it is if she fell in love with you, she'll get really angry because she's like, oh no, this guy's not a man. What am I doing with this guy? Oh no, he's not a good provider. Oh, and you could be making $1 million a week for freaking 25 years straight. And you're like, but Mike, that's a lot of money. But in the female mating system, that doesn't mean anything. You could live in a mansion. It doesn't mean anything. What matters to her mating system is this has to be done in this way. If it's not done in this way, she just doesn't feel right. She kind of looks at you like you're another woman. You're just kind of a buddy. So I'm going to emphasize this point one more time, and I'm going to move on to some examples. You have to understand something. We are wired neurologically the way we are wired, period, end of sentence. You cannot change this. So trying to be Mr. Politically Correct, well, that's not the right way to do it. It doesn't matter. I'm sorry, but and that's the thing. I was raised in California, a liberal area, and politically correct. And I'm going to tell you, that's the worst thing you can do. It'll destroy your marriage, your wife, your relationship, your girlfriend, etc. It will destroy it. We're taught what to say publicly, but then there's what we react to physically, emotionally, and sexually. Facts. So do you guys want to know what the word romance actually means in the female language? It means seduction. Women want to be seduced. It's just that the way our brain's wired is like, well, yeah, but we're not supposed to say that publicly. You got to be indirect. You got to be polite. See, that women speak the indirect language because it's the polite language. It's the politically correct language. The problem is men take that directly and they misunderstand it. Her definition of romance does not mean opening doors. It does not mean paying for dinners. It does not mean pulling up and picking her up in your car. It does not mean getting a haircut and wearing a button-up dress shirt. It doesn't mean any of that shit. That has nothing to do with romance. It would be like you thinking the word hola means close the door. No, that's not what that word means. So now let's look at the caveman era. There was no police, there was no jails, there was no judges, there was no military. There was just big muscular cavemen running around doing, now listen closely, this is it right here. Listen closely, this is it. Doing whatever the hell they wanted to do. Period. End of sentence. This is normal. This is what her mating system is wired to. You hungry? You go hunt down, chase down food. You want to have sex? Well, you grab a cave girl and you take it. You want to fart? You fart. You want to sleep? You sleep. You want to eat? You eat. You just do what you want, when you want, where you want, and how you want. But the modern male has been so brainwashed, so conditioned, so politically correct that we don't do any of these things. Like literally, men don't fart in front of women anymore at all. So if you burp and she's like, oh my God, and you react to that, that's where you messed up. Literally just be you. And here's the secret or the key. You don't care what she thinks. Now let's go back to the whole like caveman, hunts and gets the food, and she needs him for survival and food and protection. So it would behoove her to cook, clean, massage him, to help him to relax, to fix his wounds, etc. Here's how it works. The harder you work to make her happy, the more angry and miserable she's going to be, because it doesn't, her DNA just is like, wait, what's going on here? She feels like she's with another woman. Now here's a phrase that came up to help men really understand what I'm saying. The harder you work to make her happy, I guarantee you, she's going to be the angriest woman that you've ever met. Now watch this. The harder she works to make you happy, I guarantee you, she will be the happiest woman on the planet. It is part of her DNA. It is part of her system. It's natural, it's normal, and it's very rewarding to her. See, here's what happens. The reason why women kind of freak out and yell and scream at you is when you're trying to do things for her, her system thinks, oh shit, something's not right. Oh my God, I'm going to lose my provider and I'm going to lose my protector. This is why women freak out and panic and yell and scream like, what are you so mad about? I did something nice. Like, what's going on here? From my own experience, from my dad's experience, I can tell you, I can look at all kinds of guys that I know, clients, men, and they're like, yeah, it was the weirdest thing in the world. She didn't like yell right away, but like, you could tell the minute I did this thing for her, she just got really sullen, got kind of quiet, and then started to bitch and moan and complain. And the next hour, all she did was yell and scream. It was like, what's the problem? You took her job away. Now she's afraid. How is she going to pay rent? In other words, she's not pleasing you. You're doing things for her, and it makes her feel like she's getting fired. Now she's got to go out in the wilderness all by herself and survive. And you're thinking, but Mike, I was showing her that how much I loved her. I get it logically, and I get it on a politically correct level, and at what we call a surface external level. But on an emotional DNA level, she's freaking out. She's thinking she's getting fired. It's like you're showing her, see, I don't need you. I can do the dishes myself. See, I don't need you. I can cook for myself. I don't need you. I can clean the bathroom by myself. She's freaking out. She thinks she's losing her job. She thinks you're going to kick her out. As Elon Musk would say, you're fired. So what happens is she starts looking for another caveman. She's looking for a job. Now, I'm not saying this is a logical, conscious thing. It's unconscious. It's emotional. It's in her wiring. But men have similar things, but in the opposite way. So that's another story. What I'm trying to get your brain to start looking at women is, okay, what is locked into her DNA? What is locked into her wiring? Okay, so now remember, this is built in from the caveman era. It's not going to change. It's neurologically built in. Now here's another one. What else was normalized back then? He wanted sex. He looked around. Oh, there's a girl. He grabbed her. He had sex. He didn't take her out to dinner. He didn't ask her out. He didn't ask politely. He didn't ask for her parents for her hand in marriage. He just looked at it. I'm horny, and he took it. He's hungry. He saw a deer, an animal, and he took it. This is built into women's hard wiring. There are movies, there are shows, there's dating shows. I've heard women say it in person, where women will say, yeah, there's just something primal about when a man just takes what he wants. Primal sounds like the caveman. Oh, it is. And when she says primal, she means sexual, very sexual. This literally unlocks sexual attraction. And in the course, I'll show you how to do it by staying out of jail. There's a way to do it without actually having to do what they did back then. There's a way to satisfy this need that women have that completely fulfills this need. And when you do it, she's going to be very, very content. If you don't, well, she's going to look for another caveman. I remember in high school, I began to notice that some of the ugliest dudes, and I mean ugly dudes, would get the hottest chicks, and I just, for the life of me, couldn't forget it. There was this one guy named Mark, and he was a dick, and I mean a freaking dick. And yet he had like the hottest girl in school, and all the other girls wanted him. And I'm like, why? He came from an average background. He sucked at school. He didn't have nothing was going good. But he was just this dick that every girl wanted to have sex with. It was the weirdest thing in the freaking world. He was very selfish, and he was mean to her too. I mean, he was just he's like, no. I remember she would always say, oh, can I have this? Can we do? No, I don't want to do it. And he'd go, I don't care. My brother-in-law used to teach this to me. He goes, Michael, you know what your problem is? You care too much about what other people think. And I was like, yeah, but blah, 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 blah. And he goes, Michael, I don't care. And you know what? He really meant it. Here's the funny thing. These two guys, they kind of look similar. Right now, now that I think about it, they had these big honking noses. They had zits all over the place. They looked like just shit. Their hair looked horrible. They had big bellies. They were just gross people. They're like cavemen that ate a lot of donuts. I'm telling you, these were not good-looking guys at all in any freaking way. And they were both short. One of them, Mark, worked at a bicycle shop. He didn't make shit for money, and I'm not kidding. But he had this old beat-up Toyota. His girlfriend would have sex with him in the Toyota, parked on the freaking street. It was the most unbelievable thing in the world. Do you want to know why these women were attracted to these guys? They were selfish. Unbelievably selfish. Like, unbelievably selfish. They would cheat on their girlfriends, and they wouldn't even try to hide it. People knew. Everyone knew. And here's the thing. They didn't care. That's what was attractive to women. These guys did what they want. They took what they want. They went after what they want, when they wanted, where they wanted, how they wanted. And if she didn't like it, well, then you don't have to be with me. They didn't care. Now, personally, this kind of goes against my personal moral compass. I don't really like being like this. But I tell you what, I was that guy who was so nice and so kind and so forgiving and blah, 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 blah. And every girl I've ever had to cheat on me. Every girl, not every girl, but in the past, yeah, every girl. Before I started saying, no, I'm not going to put up with this. No, it's unacceptable. When I finally started like standing up for myself, being myself, doing what I wanted, and like, you know what? Because here's what happens. When you start getting your heart ripped out again and again and again, you snap. One day you're like, I am freaking done. And that's when women start to treat you better. You spend your whole life pleasing women, trying to make them happy, and blah, 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 blah. And they end up doing the most horrific, not just cheating, but treating you like crap, beating down your self-esteem, purposely trying to hurt you, and on. Because it's like there's something in the female DNA system that it's. I'm just going to say it. I've heard this from women. It's been in TV or movies. It's like if you're not a man, then you don't deserve to be treated with respect. My haircutter from Mexico said that. Now her husband's Mexican. And he was said, so she goes, well, Michael, like, we all know our husbands are cheating on us. I was like, what? Like, because now she's a very traditional family, Catholic, marriage, grandmother, father, the grandparents involved. I'm like, what do you teach? She says, well, look, we don't talk about it. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? She goes, look, if your man isn't actively chasing women, there's something wrong with him, if you know what I'm saying. Wink, wink, hint, hint, meaning he's not into girls. And I thought, yeah, that's true. I mean, like, even though I was with a girlfriend, I looked at other girls and they were fucking hot. So the point, so the point is like, yeah, that's true. That's okay. And she goes, look, I'm like, but how do you justify this with your family? She goes, well, here's the rule, Michael. As long as he's smart about it and he doesn't get caught. Now, if our parents find out, or our coworkers, or our friends, or our other family members, yeah, then it's a problem. Now, here's the deal. This goes back to the caveman era. He wasn't loyal to one woman. He did what he wanted, when did he want, and that was the way it was. Now, I'm not giving you permission to just go sleep around. That's not what I'm saying. Here's the thing. When you take my course and you learn this internal awareness technique, women will be drawn to you. When she sees that, that satisfies that need. So, something else she said to me And it wasn't just her. I've seen it in the movies and blah, blah, blah. I've talked to women about it. But here's what she said. She goes, Michael, if other women aren't into your man, if they're not trying to get with your man, there's something wrong with him. And, he's not a man. It's like, you got to find a better man. It's like, your husband has to be desirable. So in this course, here's the funny thing. Like, you guys think it's about how tall you are, how muscular you are, how big your bank account is, your car. It's not that. There's something that I teach you how to connect with inside. And when you connect with this, boom, women are drawn to you. It's a very natural mating system, DNA, instinctual thing that they cannot resist. Now, I'm actually on it right now. It's what's inspired this video. You know that show at whatever clips? So Andrew proves, this one says Andrew proves why women's number one fantasy is disturbing. Well, what he's talking about is they're talking about sexual A, so SA, okay? This is actually women's number one fantasy. Again, I'm not telling you to do it, but there is a way to sexually satisfy a woman by doing certain things, which I'll teach to you in the course. It's like the caveman going around, taking the girl, yeah, you're mine. And he takes it, right? And I'm not going to use the bad words, but he does it, right? So I had another haircut years ago in my 20s, and I was telling, she goes, what do you do? I'm like, well, I teach men how to understand women, romance, love, seduction. She goes, and after a couple haircuts, she goes, you really want to understand women? Read a romance novel. I'm like, yeah, they're boring. She goes, Michael, trust me, read it. So she offered some authors. In fact, she bought a book because when I came back, she goes, well, did you read the romance novel? I'm like, no. She gave me an author that she highly recommended, right? And I'm like, no. So then I came back again. She bought a book. She goes, I want you to read this one, and then I want you to read a couple more. I'm like, okay. I'm like, so I read it, and I'm like, holy shit, I did not know how kinky, what's the word, SA, these romance novels are. So the word would be assault. I don't want to put them together because I don't know how YouTube, does this. So there's all these guys that would just ravage these women and talk dirty and spank them. But it wasn't that. A lot of the romance novels were like he literally just, broke the law, let's say. He took it, forced her against her will. Now I was like, what the hell? So I started reading more of this author's books. She wrote a lot of books, by the way. And then I started going to other ones, and and then whenever I was near a bookstore, I'd walk in, I'd read a chapter or something. And I'm like, man, every single book has this same fantasy. What the hell? And then I started to realize. Now here's the other thing. I talked to a guy at this bookstore that worked there. I got to know him over a period of time. He goes, oh yeah, and I was telling him this. He goes, oh yeah. A really interesting fact. I'm like, well, what's that? He goes, do you know that the number one bookseller in all bookstores across the country and other countries is romance novels? I'm like, oh, it beats all the categories? He goes, no. Not only does it beat all the other categories, it beats all the categories combined. So every category in every bookstore in the United States, this one category outsells all of them. Now, here's the deal. There's a really popular psychology book called Sex Wars, Sperm Wars. And it's really interesting about human behavior and what our sperm does and how men and women interact and why we cheat. And it's actually for a higher purpose, though, by the way. Women cheat because we're trying to mix DNA to strengthen the human DNA and stuff like that. It's actually built into us. Because if you keep interbreeding the same DNA with the same DNA, your immune system gets weak, the muscles get weak, the brain gets dumb. It's essentially inbreeding. It's not good. You need to mix your DNA constantly. This is not only natural for human behavior, it's normal, and it's very, very healthy. So towards the very end, there was 3 couples, and they all went out to the woods or something, and they kind of they're getting romantic, so they kind of all went off down one trail so they could have their own privacy and stuff. Well, one guy was Mr. Nice Guy, and he picked some flowers, he did these nice flowery things, blah blah blah, and they didn't have sex, and he tried to kiss her, and she pushed him away. Now, I don't remember the stories verbatim, but I'm going to give you the gist of it. And then the next guy, he was nice to maybe a little bit more aggressive. And, well, they had sex. And then the third guy, he flat out R-word, S-A her, raped her. And here's the really interesting thing. Watch this. So they did a follow-up. I think it was like 6 months later or whatever. It might have been years later, but they did a follow-up. Now, here's the interesting thing. The first couple, she never talked to him again at all. Never talked to him, never interacted, never called, never returned call, nothing, just over. The second couple, they dated for a little short period of time. I don't remember how long it was. Could have been a month, but whatever. And it didn't work out. She wasn't interested in him. But then the third couple, now here's the very interesting thing. They ended up being in a long-term relationship, and if I remember right, they ended up getting married. Now, my first reaction was like, what the F? And then I started going back to my understandings about the caveman and how they just roamed and did what they want and they took what they wanted. And I was like, man, that actually makes sense, because that's the way what's conditioned into them, because those are the kind of guys. Now, here's what it is. Those are the guys who survived. The nice guys, they didn't survive. They couldn't provide for his wife and children. And the cavemen were very, very selfish. They always took what they wanted, and it was always about them. Therefore, they always had shelter, they always had food, and they always had sex. They always got what they wanted. But the nice guys are like, oh, well, okay, I'll let you have the deer, Jim, so you could feed your family. So he goes home, and his wife, his cave wife, is going, well, where's the food? He says, well, I let Jim have it so his kids could eat. Well, do you really think that's going to make her effing happy that her children are starving? Here's another interesting thing. My goddaughter, when she was about 17 or 18 years old, she just randomly came over one day, and I was really focused on my computer, and I go, yeah, make a sandwich, whatever, And she got she was here for about 5 minutes, and she got really pissed, and she just goes, I can't wait till I get older and go to college. And I turned around like, why? Because how did she say it? Hold on. It was something, because then I'll meet men who take what they want. And I looked at her and I'm like, what the fuck? And she ran out, didn't run, but walked out the door, and she kind of slammed it over kind of fast. And I thought about the caveman thing. I was like, oh, yeah, I know what she's talking about. So guys, this is just wired into women. So if you're this nice guy, you're always trying to make her happy. See, this is where you're messing up. If you're trying to make her happy, you're destroying it. She's got to make you happy. If she's not working to make you happy, if you're not just going around taking what you want, being the selfish dude, her mating system goes, this is not a good provider. Look, this was not the way I was raised, and this is not the way. Okay, let's put it this way. Here's the really interesting thing. Not only is she going to be happier, and this is the thing about it, like, women are going to be very, very happy when you do this stuff. Okay, here's what I was going to say. So here I am, telling my brother-in-law and this other guy, like, hey, man, you got to be nice to her. And you're like, why are you? Because, dude, and they'd be like, dude, shut the fuck up. And, they would just, shut up. And you know why? And here's what they would say, though. Look at your relationship. All your girlfriend does is yell at you and treat you like crap. I'm like, well, yeah, but, I'm working on it. And I was lying to myself. And it's because I didn't understand. Here's the deal. My ex-girlfriend hurt me so bad one day, and I mean really bad. She cheated on me again and she threw it in my face, and I was like, I'm effing done. It was like the 5th time I broke up with her or something like that. And of course, as usual, about 2 months later, she'd come back begging me, and she would cry, pour on the waterworks. And what happened was, like, I was so pissed. I'm like, okay, here's what happened. She convinced me to take her back. I'm like, you know what? Okay, I'll give you a chance. She goes, okay, well, I'm going to go. I got to go now. I'm like, wait. What are you talking? Because it was Friday. I'm like, let's go do something. She goes, oh no, I'm going out with my girlfriends tonight. We're gonna go to the city and go to the clubs. And I was like, F you effing bitch. And I was like, oh god, it was just game time all over again. And I realized, like, she's not gonna stop. I was like, you know what? Get the fuck out of here. She goes, oh no, baby, I don't have to go. No, get the fuck out of here. Go. And here's what happened was, I just said, look, I'm done. And now I'm yelling this. I go, I am fucking done. I go, I'm dating someone right now, and if you don't like it, too effing bad, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to date who I want, when I want, where I want, and on and on. And here's the thing. She started to smile, and I was like, what's going on here? And I go, I'm not joking. But it was a happy smile. It wasn't a cocky smile. And I said, if you think I'm going to take you back, you're insane. And I go, if you want to be in my life, I tell you what, here's the deal I'm going to make you. I'm throwing you back out in the pond. You have just as much chance to earn my love as all these other girls. I go, I'm going to date when I want, where I want, and how I want. Now, at the time, I was just mad. I didn't realize what I was saying or what I was doing was triggering her mating system. Let me tell you something. She was like, okay. I go, no, I'm not kidding. If you think going out with your girlfriends to tea time or going out to the clubs or dating other guys, if that's your way of proving to, because this is what I said, I go, until you prove to me beyond a shadow of a doubt, I go, I'm going to date anyone I want until someone proves to me beyond a shadow of a doubt that I'm the one that they want. And until then, screw it. I'm dating anyone. And I slammed the door. And that was it. And I went out with, and here's the deal. I didn't feel guilty at all. And let me tell you something. That was one of the keys. And she could see it like he literally doesn't care. Boom. Instant turn on. I remember being at this club with this other girl. And in the back of my head, I'm just thinking, man, my ex-girlfriend really likes me now. What the hell? It was an extremely empowering position to be in. And I thought, what is it? And that's the thing. They want you to be in that position. It's like my haircutter said, well, if your man's not cheating around or sneaking around, well, he's not a man. So during this period of time, now I didn't really get the full picture, but I did step into the other side of the world going, oh, so this is what it's like over. No wonder why Mark is like that. No wonder. Okay, I had another friend, Johnny. This dude was even shorter. He was like 5'5", chubby, like this little fat Italian Mario dude, never played sports, never did a push-up in his life. And this dude had the cutest girl. And when I invited me over, I thought, oh, his parents must be filthy rich. They had a house, but it was nasty. It was like, you could tell they'd lived there for the parents probably lived there for 20 plus years. And it was just kind of like run down. They needed to be painted. There was dirt and mud on the side. It was just not good. The plants were just broken. And I walked in, the carpet's old as hell. And I'm just like, there's nothing about him that would show any wealth at all. And he drove around in a piece of shit freaking car. But his girlfriend worshipped him, and I couldn't, because her parents made more money. She came from a better family, better upbringing, and I'm like, what is this? How does this dude get this girl? And it was the same thing. I'm telling you, if you saw Mark and my brother-in-law, you'd be like, those are ugly dudes. Yeah, and they're short, and they're fat, and they've got zits. I mean, it was just like, it didn't make any sense. Now, when I met Johnny, this last guy I'm talking about, I was already studying NLP and I was taking psychology class. In fact, that's where we met, was at college. It was like my third year, maybe fourth year. And that's how we met. And I got to know him and his girlfriend, and they invited me over. And then I went to his house again and his girlfriend was with them. And Johnny is just yelling at his mom, F you, shut the F up, I don't want to hear it. And I'm thinking, oh, that's not going to win points with his girlfriend. Oh, no. She was smiling. She liked that. Are you guys starting to understand my book, Why Men Just Don't Get It? It's kind of bizarre to us because the male population for hundreds of years now, for at least 100 years now, it's actually longer, but we've been so raised to be polite and to be proper and to do everything right and to follow the rules and be a good little boy. And all of this turns women off. Her mating system goes, yeah, something's not right here. Now, I can logically teach you this stuff, but you have to physically shift something. It's called being internal. It's something I'll condition into you over and over during the course. This is why my course is so expensive. It's extremely hard to do to the modern male because you guys resist it every step. You resist it every step of the way until you pop open and you're like, wow, what is this? I'm like, this is you. It's essentially a form of self-love. It's like, this is you saying, no, it's my turn now. I'm going to do what I want. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to do. And this is where I'm going to go. And all of a sudden, women start to chase you because now you're the caveman. You're literally triggering the natural way it was meant to be between men and women from the beginning. Now you can say, but Mike, we live in the modern era. But dude, it doesn't matter. And that's the point that you're not getting yet. Her DNA, her neurological wiring, her mating system demands this. And if you don't do it, well, she's going to be cheating around. She's going to be treating you disrespectfully. She's going to eventually leave you. She's going to hurt you on purpose. Because now here's the funny thing. Do you know why women are yelling at you? They're trying to get you to be in the power. They're trying to get you to step back into your power. She's yelling and screaming, complaining. Like, she's not complaining like, I know you're like, but Mike, but she's telling me to do these. Like, no, she's challenging you. She's angry. She's fearful. She's freaking out. What it is like I said earlier in the video, she's scared. She's afraid she doesn't have a protector. She doesn't have a provider. Yeah, and you might be like, but Mike, she's the one who makes the money. I don't even have a job. See, that's the thing. It doesn't matter. She could make $100,000 a day, and she's going to freak out if you're not in. See, here's the deal. You don't have to be a millionaire. And here's the other deal. You could be a multimillionaire making millions a week, right? And if you're not doing these behaviors, her mating system goes, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit, panic attack, panic attack. Alarms, alarm, invasion coming. She's freaking. She's literally going into a panic attack. That's why she's yelling at you, because you forgot to take out the garbage. That's why she's yelling at you, because you walked in the door and you didn't close it right. That's why she's yelling at you, because you left the seat up on the toilet seat up. She's not mad about the garbage. She's not mad about the toilet seat. She's not mad because you walked in the front door the wrong way. She's freaking out, and she's trying to express that indirectly, because that's how women do things. Now, what I'm about to tell you is kind of not going to make sense. She needs to make sure that her man is in charge, that he's taking care of business. Now you're like, but Mike, I do. I pay the bills. I've got a great job. I go to work. That's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. You don't have to have a job. You don't have to have any money at all. You could be a lazy slob, sleeps until noon every day. Yeah, the why men just don't get it's starting to make more sense now, isn't it? Because men don't get it. You have to be the caveman. Do what you want, when you want, where you want, and how you want. This makes her feel safe and secure. You just don't care what other people think. It's like, if you want to leave, go ahead and leave. Here, let me help you. I'll pick her up, open the door for her, and walk her out, and then shut the door. The funny thing is, I even had a best friend in high school, man. This guy got the chicks. This guy was a fucking natural. You know what it was? It was, okay, here's one thing I learned from Johnny. Johnny's mother treated him like a king, and that was the thing that was mind-blowing. Like, whoa, what's this? I've never seen a mother cater to a son this way, and this is what I began. Like, wait, my best friend Marlon in high school was like, his mother just catered to him, loved him, the whole family. Marlon was the prince. Everybody loved Marlon. So Marlon did what he wanted, when he wanted. He got in trouble at school. His dad would just laugh, I got suspended. Hey, let's go fishing. I mean, it was just like he could do no wrong. So guys that were raised this way have this selfishness, this internal sense of, I don't want to do that. And they have no guilt for it at all. Or I'm going to do this, and a buddy's like, oh, don't do that. I mean, he goes, whatever, dude. Like it's not even a F you. It's more of like, okay, it almost like the words don't even, they bounce off of them. They go right past them. It's not even a fuck you or F you. It's just, I'm doing what I want to do. Women are highly attracted to these men. The modern male was not raised this way. Do you want to know what the modern male was raised? We were raised to sacrifice ourselves for the better good of other people. We were raised to die in wars for other people. We were raised to make other people happy, to work hard, to pay other people's bills, to give them a cush life, to do this, to do that. And you know what it turns out? That doesn't satisfy the women's mating system at all. This is why a lot of men flip out in anger after 10 years of marriage or 7 years or three long-term relationships with girls, and it always ends up, oh, women are just this way. And you know what? You are right. Women are just this way. So stop doing that stuff. Put yourself first. Start thinking for yourself. Start doing what you want to do. Do it when you want, where you want, how you want. Go to bed when you want. Watch Johnny Carson or the talk show till 3 a.m. if you want. It's your life. Guys, I know it sounds weird. It's the oddest thing in the world. They love it. He's doing what he wants with his life. That's what they're looking for. Look at the title of this book that I wrote for women. Every Woman's Battle, the Need for Love and Emotional Fulfillment. Believe it or not, but this fulfills her emotional needs. Because it's hardwired into her system from the caveman era. It's locked in. When you deviate from this, when you try to cook for her, please her, do all... In the beginning, oh, yes, I'm training him. But now, okay, here, watch this. It's going to blow your mind. So there's a part in the female's right brain, okay? And this part of her brain is solely designed to raise children. Now here is what's happening. You want to know what's really happening? Here it is. When you start listening to her, when you want to go to the store, she goes, no, it's too late. Well, okay, honey. When you want to buy some ice cream, no, that's not good for you. You're on a diet. When you want to eat dinner, in bed, no, you don't eat. The rules are you can't do that. Guess what's happening? That part of her brain is getting stimulated, and now unconsciously, again, it's not consciously, but here's the funny thing, you'll hear women scream this at men after years of this. I feel like I'm raising a child. You got locked into her system where she raises a child, and now on an unconscious level, she's looking at you like you're a child. And guess what? Women are not sexually attracted to 6-year-old boys. Now, here's the really weird thing. In the beginning, they will reward you. When you start doing what you're told, she will reward you with amazing sex. She'll cook for you. She'll clean with you. She'll give you blowjobs. She will do everything. But then what happens is she kind of goes, okay, this is kind of creepy, because on some level, it's an unconscious feeling of like, I'm having sex with a little boy. So then she cuts the sex off. You ever wonder why your wife stopped having sex with you? Now you know. Good boy, do as you're told. I mean, if you don't want to have sex anymore. And then from that point forward, it's like raising a young boy. She's going to nag and nag and nag and look like, what's wrong with you? Because it's an unconscious thing. She's now looking at you as you're another one of her children. Now, here's another interesting thing. After a period of time, she starts to go, wait a minute. You're not my child. Who are you? Wait, why am I feeding you? Because you got to understand, her mating system understands that resources are rare. Now you think about, Mike, we've got grocery stores, we've got money. Her mating system does not recognize that. It's all about survival. The mating system is literally in the lower reptilian survival brain. So if you've got someone else's child, like, hey, you're not my responsibility, get the hell out. Women are cold when it comes to other children. You want proof? How many times you've heard other women say to a woman who's adopted a child, oh my God, that's so amazing. I can't believe you did that. So amazing, I can't believe you did that. Because why would you do that? It is not normal for other women to raise other children that are not theirs, because it is so hard to feed 1 or 2 children in your own caveman family. It's all about survival. Desmond Morris wrote a book about this, how brutal the female species can be towards other children. I believe it was in his book, The Naked Ape, where he did a whole study on this. Now, here's the deal. In the beginning, when you start following her orders and do it as you're told, she rewards you with sex. It's like rewarding a child with sex. It's kind of creepy. It's kind of weird, but they do. It's like patting you on the head. Good boy, good boy. I'm going to reward you for this. And then she'll do it for a while, but then when she's like, wait a minute, it's kind of weird. And that's why women cut off sex. Like, boom, they just go cold freaking turkey with their husbands. Because now you're locked into that part of her brain that raises children. And this is literally, you can call it the friend zone, but it's a little bit more than that. Like, this is the system that was designed to raise children. And now when you don't do as you're told, she's going to punish you. Now she's treating you like a little boy. I know a lot of you men who've been married and divorced going, man, or long-term relationships are going, man, my girlfriend literally yelled at me all the time. Now here's what happens next. When she realizes you're not one of hers, she starts freaking out. She starts yelling and screaming. She's trying to push you out. You're not one of mine. Get out. And thus, you get kicked out and divorce. But your dumbass is looking at it logically. But Mike, we're married. We're a man and wife. Guys, this is not logical. This is unconscious DNA stuff going on. This is reptilian brain, mating system, unconscious to the maximum. See, what your brain, the left brain is all about following rules. So you're like, but Mike, but the rules say, honestly, you got to understand the rules are made up. Every rule, every tax, every law, every street rule, they were made up by people. They're not fucking real. This is why women say to men all the time, actions speak louder than words. Your dumbass is thinking that she's saying, oh, I need to, if I say I'm going to do something, then I should do it. No, she's telling you to watch her actions because her words don't mean shit. What a woman says and what a woman does are two radically, completely different things. Period. End of sentence. Done. I don't care what a woman says. I don't even listen to her words. I just watch what she ends up doing. And that's what women have been telling men for hundreds and thousands of years. Actions speak louder than words. And you know the funny thing about it is, when an older teacher has sex with a younger boy that's 12 years old or whatever, it's because that boy is selfish. He does what he wants, when he wants, where he wants, etc. He is acting like a grown caveman. And that's what I learned about Johnny was, even before I met his mom, at college, Johnny was kind of a selfish dick. He was always like, if he had 10 candy bars, he wouldn't even let you have a bite of one of them. It was just he was just this really overly selfish dude, but women went for it. When I saw the interaction between him and his mom, I was like, oh, she treats him like a freaking king. He is so important. So on an unconscious level, being raised that way, he thought about himself first. He was a self-thinker. He's selfish. He's internal. Me first. Me. And that's the caveman that's going to survive. And that's why women are attracted to guys that are selfish and mean and rude and, etc. He wants what he wants and he's going to get it. And if not, he's going to find a way. He's going to bitch, moan, complain, and fight for it. Period. End of sentence. Now is it starting to make sense why women go for these guys? It's all about self-preservation. It's all about survival. The caveman that puts other guys ahead of him, not a good provider, not a good survivor. So she's going to be like, yeah, I need to find a better guy who thinks for himself and does what he wants and takes what he wants. You have to be a self-thinker. You have to be selfish. This is life. This is Mother Nature. Whether you like it or not, I don't care. This is reality. Here's the really cool thing, though. This means you don't have to have a single dollar bill in the bank account. You don't have to have a job. You don't have to be tall. You don't have to be anything. You could be a fat, short slob. And just act this way, and women will be all over you. Haven't you ever seen that guy that doesn't work, didn't go to college, and his wife pays for everything, or his girlfriend buys him stuff all the time? And here, my ex-girlfriend said, in Laos, that's the way it is. Because our husbands are a king. We will never let them work. We work and we pay the bills. Because he's a king. He's not a slave. Here's the thing. I'm not saying you have to be lazy or not have a job or go after your dreams. What I'm saying is, even if you do go after your dreams, you've got goals, you're making $1 million a week every week, you've got $25 billion in the bank account, it won't matter. That's what I'm trying to say. Even if you're tall, handsome, good looking, and you bodybuild, and you're in perfect shape, and you're the best martial artist and kickboxer in the world, it doesn't matter if you're not doing this. Look at Tiger Woods. He lost $300 million. Tiger Woods is a good-looking, tall, athletic, world-famous, extremely rich guy. Look at Jeff Bezos. I can go on and on and on and on. All the rich, famous, muscular, athletic dudes whose wives left them. Clearly, being the nice guy and having billions of dollars doesn't work. Clearly, being tall, athletic, and world famous, apparently that doesn't work either. Just turn on the news, man. Open your eyes to reality. But Mike, it's about bank accounts, being tall, good looking. Clearly, it's not. For you, it is. Not for her mating system. Here's the funny thing. I had another friend from when I was a kid. His name's Brett. And he was an private airline pilot for executives. So this guy made over 200, I think it was 225 grand a year. And what happened was he was a dick. That dude was a dick. And for the most part, I really didn't like this guy, but we were family friends, etc. And he was the most selfish dude I'd met when I was at, I mean, like, this guy didn't care about nobody but himself. And guess what? He got the cutest girl in the world. She was in my grade. He was about 4 grades above us. And he married her. I was like, oh man, Chrissy was freaking hot. Like, this girl was like, bam. Here's the thing about Brett. He was an ugly dude. Physically just ugly, out of shape, just one of those lumpy kind of dudes. But here's the thing. When he was a little kid in the kitchen, he reached up for this hot boiling pan of oil. He was about 3 years old or 4 or something. He reached up and grabbed the handle and pulled it down, and it burned the top of his head all the way down the side of his face. This was an ugly... He was naturally just not a good-looking guy, but the scarring made it way worse. Now I'm looking at him going, how the hell did you get Chrissy? But at this point in time, I realize that because of everything that I teach and I've learned, like, well, it actually kind of makes sense. But you guys keep thinking, but Mike, I'm not good enough looking. Trust me, trust freaking me. You're better looking than that dude. So there's some things I'll teach you that you can do with your wife or your girlfriend or the girl you're dating that makes her feel like you're a caveman and you're taking what you want. It's a role-playing thing that I teach. It's completely legal, and they love it. They laugh. Here's the funny thing. They'll laugh while you're doing it. My ex-girlfriend, she heard me teach this to guys in some of the workshops I did years ago. Not my current girlfriend, my girlfriend from years ago. And I remember when I did it to her right after a workshop where I taught it, and she's giggling because she knows what I'm doing, but at the same time, man, did it turn. See, here's the funny thing. They can logically understand it, but her mating system, trigger, cannot resist it. There's a right way and there's a wrong way, guys. If you want to learn how to seduce women fast, turn women on, buy my package, From Broken to Bulletproof, the Ultimate System. It's a complete transformation package. Buy that, read it, and then take my course. Alright guys, this is Mike Kollin at seductionpower.com. Click subscribe, click the like button, go ahead and make a comment. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.